Chapter 3. Zoe left the library early. It was no use sitting there doing nothing. She had stared at the wall, out the window, and at the clock. Anything but right. Her fresh notebook page had become a mass of scribbled-out false starts. At this rate, she would have nothing to show. Mrs. Moore tomorrow in their critique session. I want to write something beautiful about my mother, she thought, but it had all come out so trite, and she knew it. She wanted to write something important that spat in Death's face. The trouble was she didn't want Mrs. Moore to know about her mother. She didn't want her to say, "Poor thing," or something awful about God's will like that idiot woman next door. So what she ended up with was something less than honest, and dishonest poetry didn't work. But I can't write about anything else if I can't write about Mom, Zoe thought. She's the most important thing. God, I'm really blowing school. It was as close to being a perfect class as she could imagine, this independent study business, yet if she continued like this it would be a waste of the quarter. I can't start screwing up in school, she thought. Mom has enough worries. Damn, she muttered as she fumbled with her lacquer. It's always stuck. She felt like kicking the stupid thing, yet she just stood there glaring at it. It won't melt no matter how long you stare at it, came a voice at her side. Lorraine, you snuck up quickly. You've got to sneak up when you cut as many classes as I do. Again? Well, what's the use? I'm moving, aren't I? Right in the middle of the semester. And I'll start somewhere else right in the middle of their semester. I might as well give it up until Christmas. Anyhow, it was worth it to see you use your X-ray vision. Zoe smiled. Jet was sad as she watched Lorraine work magic on the locker door. Who would make her laugh when Lorraine left? Who else would blithely ignore her request for peace and quiet and drag her to a party anyway? Come to the bathroom with me, Lorraine said, as Zoe stashed her books and got out her lunch. It's between shifts, so we might even be able to breathe in there. They headed for the bathroom nearest the cafeteria. I'm sorry about last night, Lorraine said as she barreled through the swinging doors of the bathroom. There's nothing to be sorry about, said Zoe behind her, surprised. Could she dare hope that Lorraine was ready to talk? They stood in front of the mirrors, and Lorraine pulled out a comb and tried to arrange her impossible auburn curls. You'd think they replaced these damn mirrors, she said angrily. They're all cracked. Then she stopped the pretense of combing and turned to face Zoe, who saw her friend's face change suddenly. Uh-oh, Zoe thought. Zoe, I don't want to move. Lorraine barely got out before she started to cry fierce tears. I won't have any friends. I'll have to start all over. Zoe's hope plunged. She thought they were going to talk about her. It almost made her cry too, but she held Lorraine, rubbed her back, and uttered an occasional there. Inside she was lost. How can I help you, she thought. When I can't even help myself. It was disturbing. Lorraine was the strong one. She didn't do this. The world was topsy-turvy again. I'm sorry, she gasped. I'm sorry, gasped Lorraine after a while. I've no right to feel this way. I'm only moving. But you... She sobbed again. She can't say it, Zoe thought. We both know what she means. And she can't say it. It isn't your pity I want, she thought, and almost pushed her friend away, but stopped herself. Lorraine really did care. It wasn't her fault that people didn't know how to talk about death. Not Dad, not neighbors, and not Mom's friends. Death's partner was silent. Tenderness for her friend overwhelmed her dismay. You nerd, you know you can always tell me how you feel. Usually nothing including me can stop you. But I feel so selfish. You always are anyway, Zoe realized, but never on purpose. It was just the way Lorraine was. Zoe could almost take comfort in the familiarity of it. She gently shook her friend. What will I do without you? That brought on more tears. I'll miss you so much, Zoe. They stood for a while holding each other. It was rare that Lorraine let herself be fragile. After her mother left, she was too afraid of breaking for good. At least that was what Zoe had guessed from watching her. We'll have another thing in common now, Zoe thought, but at least you'll be able to visit your mother. There was bitterness in this thought. She stroked Lorraine's hair in an attempt to atone. This was a moment when she could slip gently past Lorraine's guard. I'm afraid to, she prepared to say. I'm afraid my mother will die, and my father will grieve forever, and I'll always be alone, because you're going to. But there was a bell ringing somewhere, and a second period lunch was signaled. Damn, Zoe thought. The door burst open, and a group of girls crowded in, already distributing cigarettes. Lorraine pushed Zoe away and hastily splashed water on her face. A blonde with garish makeup stood staring at them with her lit cigarette in a carefully poised hand. "You guys queer or something?" she asked jeeringly. "Piss off, Morgan," said Lorraine, putting her arm around Zoe protectively. "You know you could break your wrist holding a cigarette like that," and Zoe found herself being swept out of the bathroom. Things were back to normal. In the cafeteria, they sat at their usual table near the back door. "I'm going to get a death burger," Lorraine said, after checking her purse, and jumped up. "Hold the fort." Zoe smiled with wry affection at Lorraine's tactlessness. Just after Lorraine left, two girls Zoe recognized from physics class sat down at the other end of the table. They unwrapped sandwiches and chatted away between bites. Zoe felt a little guilty about listening, but it seemed impossible not to, especially when they sat so near. She chased an idea for a poem about her head, something about a silver boy in the moonlight, but finally the word murder caught her attention and held it. She was Sheila's cousin, the dark one said dramatically, and she leaned across the table. "Really?" "Yes. They found her with her throat slashed." The tall one shuddered. "God, it's like Jack the Ripper or something." "Ugh," they agreed in unison. Lorraine returned with her lunch, and the other conversation faded into the background. "Have you been reading the paper lately?" Zoe asked Lorraine. "Not really." "Who's got time? Why?" Zoe glanced at the girls at the end of the table, still engrossed in the details of murder. "Oh, there was something in the news. I saw a headline, but I didn't read about it. I thought you might know." "Not me. They call me Miss Oblivious." Lorraine camped in her Saturday morning cartoon voice. Zoe laughed to cover her irritation. It was too true. "Never mind." After school, her father was outside to pick her up. "Hop in. We're going to the hospital," he said, but that was about all he said on the way.